It is just a huge honor for me today to be podcast interviewing Dr. Matehus Severino Johansen. He's a young dentist from Trøndelag, Norway, that wants to help dental students study smarter and more efficient. By co-founding Denthelp with two other co-founders, he is now able to share a story. The whole solution is built upon his struggles through dental school and are helping dental students from more than 90 countries with a digital dental library as an app. And you can download this. Just go to the App Store, Google Play, and it's just on. If you go to the App Store, just Denthelp, D-E-N-T, help, Denthelp. And my gosh, it is just a huge honor to have you come on the show. I saw this app. I saw that. I thought this is really cool. And then what I thought was even cooler is that you were from the main side of the planet. I mean, I'm over here on the Americas. We're on the other side of the planet. The Americas only have 1 billion people. Africa has 1 billion people. India has 1.3 billion. China has 1.4 billion. I feel like I live on the dark side of the moon or the earth. But I loved lecturing in Norway, Sweden, and Finland, and Denmark. And they have some of the greatest companies in the world. I mean, Denmark, Copenhagen, Denmark is 3Shape. My God, Finland, Helsinki, Finland is Plan Mecca. And I figured out why 3Shape and Plan Mecca are so great. And that is when I went there. My God, in the winter, it's so damn cold that all the dentists told me that, the only thing you can really do all winter is just work like 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. They go, you're either going to work 10-hour days, 6 days a week, all winter, or you're just going to just drink. And it's just one of those two things. You're either going to stay drunk all winter or work. So they work. And then when you're a tourist, like from America, and you go there in the summer when it's finally perfect, everything's closed down because they're all on vacation. It's summer, and I remember going to all those cities, and it's like 3 out of 4 restaurants were closed because they're like, "Are you kidding, man? We just came out of the North Pole, and now it's summertime, and everybody's on vacation and holiday." I remember one time this restaurant was closed, but the park in front of it had like 1,000 people just sunbathing. So so my first question to you is, did you develop this whole app when it was like 40 below zero with no sunshine for 3 months? Is that when you worked on this?
We started in the summertime. So we did it in the vacation time, basically. That's when we did all the planning and how we made a roadmap to actually be able to make a product.
So you were born in Sao Paulo, Brazil. How old were you when you left Brazil and went to Norway?
When I moved to Norway, I was 2 years old. So I was adopted.
So you don't remember the good weather. I was wondering, how did you move? Because I've lectured in Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo was the largest lecture I ever gave in my life. It was in the year 2000, the Aesthetica 2000 conference. I lectured there with Larry Rosenthal and some other people. But they had 4,000 people in attendance. But it was so dang gorgeous, I didn't want to come back to the United States. So I was wondering, how the hell did you leave Sao Paulo, Brazil, and end up in the North Pole? But your mama took you there when you were 2, so you didn't know any better. And I don't think you should go visit it, because if you went and visited Sao Paulo in, say, January, February, March in Norway, you might not come back. But so tell us about your journey. You can go to denthelp.io. So just go to denthelp.io, and there's the website. So tell us about it. Tell us your journey.
I mean, it all started when I was a student in Eastern Europe, in Latvia. I studied there for 5 years. And I mean, I had a really tough time putting the theoretical part and combining with the practical part of the studies. And that's when I kind of realized there should be a solution for this. And I was looking for it, but I couldn't find it. And then fast forward, when I was done with my studies, I decided that I wanted to make it myself. And then I contacted 2 of my friends, and they said, "Yeah, I mean, we believe in your idea, and let's go. Why not?"
And I love that you end it with IO. I mean, IO is the internet suffix for the British Indian Ocean. But a lot of people, what do you think most people think IO stands for?
I don't know actually. I
I
have
mean, I
no
mean,
idea.
why
I know
why
it's very
why
popular
did
for startups. I know it's.
why did you use IO?
We wanted to use .com, but it was taken. Someone had the rights for it, and then we went for IO. It's cheaper, and I know a lot of startups and entrepreneurs are using this kind of thing.
So are you a programmer? Did you program this? Was that the first thing you had to do is find a programmer?
So the first thing we did basically was to kind of put all the ideas up on a big screen, and then we decided how to do it. And I mean, me as a dentist, I was doing all the theoretical part, writing all this stuff down and putting in shape and structure. Then we applied for funding from the Norwegian government, and we received quite a lot of money. So we decided to hire a programmer to kind of make the app for us. And we were able to do that because of the kind of the prototyping, the testing, and showing statistics. Then we got some funding, and then we didn't have to learn the program part ourselves.
And how many Norwegian krones did the government give you?
More than 500,000.
Wow. And was that a grant or did you have to pay that back?
No, that was just a funding. We got it, and they believed in our idea, and they said use this money to develop the product, the company even further. And yeah, thank you very much.
Wow. So you got 500,000 krones.
Yeah.
So that times point 12 for the US dollar. I'm trying to figure out. So that was 60,000 US dollars, right?
Yeah.
So did you, and $60,000, I mean, that could hire a programmer for a year. What did you spend the 60 grand on?
I mean, we haven't spent it all yet, but we hired a programmer and a designer to kind of design the application and then also kind of code it. We spent 2 years developing, and we had a prototype last year, which we kind of launched on the market, and we got some crazy feedback, really nice feedback from students and especially from the US. It was we talked to a lot of students in the US, and they said we love this solution. This is amazing for us.
And what is the problem you're solving, and what does your product do, and what was the feedback you got?
Yeah, we wanted to test my hypothesis. So we wanted to test that if we put dental literature in a structured and kind of efficient way, you could kind of transfer your theoretical knowledge and use it in the clinics as well. And as well as kind of reading books, reading lectures with a lot of details. This is important for dental students, but what you really want in a clinical situation, you want bullet points, you want the symptoms, you want a management of the patient, you want this kind of stuff in a structured way. So we wanted to see if the dental students would use this kind of application besides their current tools. And the feedback was that it was more efficient, it was easy, and it was available at all times. And that's where we realized that, okay, we have an idea, we have a kind of solution, let's build it. Let's build it further.
And so on the Apple App Store, do you use an iPhone or do you use a Droid?
Me myself personally, I use iPhone, but we have it as well on the Google Android store.
Yeah, we Dentaltown app. I got to see the metrics on it, but dentists love Apple. I mean, it seems to be their dominant thing. It says on the App Store, it says we make it easier to learn dentistry by conveying academic literature within dentistry in user friendly manner. Determine and learn about diagnosis based on symptoms. Learn how to perform treatments. Learn when and how to use pharmaceuticals in a clinical setting. And so What's new? The dental dictionary in your pocket is back, proven by dentists. The new update consists of more than 100 new graphics, new topics, and explanations that will guide you through dentistry. I guess I'm reading reviews. The new dental help is cleaned. But anyway, so tell us, first of all your reviews are 5.0. You don't have one um, review. In fact, Kyle, can you give them a 1-star review just to see if that thing's working? And just kidding. So tell us what it does and what kind of feedback did you get? You said you got a lot of feedback from America, and where is this thing headed?
So I mean, like we're trying to kind of put the literature, the knowledge which we have, into a simple matter. And what the feedback we got, that the student, they loved it because it was so easy to use. And what we see, that we made this app in English to start with, and we see that we have users from more than 90 different countries. And I mean, if we can continue this scale, we want to be an international brand for educating dental students. I mean, the knowledge and the theory that is available today, it's amazing. It's a lot of, but we have to put it in one platform. And that's our vision, to put all this knowledge and all this theory into our platform and be an international educator, basically.
Wow, that is really really cool. Now, how much does it cost?
The app itself, it costs $5 per month, or now I have it in Norwegian krones, but I can more around $24 for 6 months, and then you have for 12 months it's around $55.
So, are you billing their credit card $5 every month?
Yeah, through App Store and Google Play Store.
So
So you,
it's reoccurring until you cancel.
it's recurring. Yeah, it
That
is.
is the best business model in the world. You know, there was a time during this market insanity where Netflix was worth more than Disney
Yeah.
because Netflix had all their customers giving them $10 a month no matter what. And Disney, you had to bet on this new upcoming movie. Will it be a blockbuster? You know, but the steady, fast, reoccurring revenue where every month you get $5 from all your clients, then you can start budgeting. Can we afford another programmer? Can we afford this marketing? You know, you have a budget. But when you don't have monthly reoccurring revenue, then revenue can be feast or famine. You can come out with a big blockbuster hit and bring in $300 million and then not bring in a dollar for 6 months. So kudos on having the perfect
Yeah.
financial business model of $5 a month. Not to mention, the research is pretty clear that 10% will completely forget that they even bought it, and will just keep paying $5 a month till they die. And you know, those are what you call your best customers.
Yeah.
And what are you doing? So, can I ask how many people are signed up for it now, or is that proprietary or personal?
We have around 26,000 users as we speak.
26,000 people paying you $5 a month.
They are users, so they have registered for our kind of trial period. So we're waiting now this month to see how many users that will actually pay it, will actually buy the subscription.
Okay, so you don't have any $5 a month payers yet.
We have around 60 from the US.
60 from the US. So what do you think of the given the user trial period for free, 26,000? What do you say, 26,000 from 90 countries?
Yeah, that is true.
And are you glad you did it that way, or do you wish you would have?
We are still trying to kind of what you said earlier, the perfect business model, because if you have 26,000 users, it doesn't mean that you have 26,000 people paying you this membership, of course. So we're trying to see the conversion rate and how to make them active. Because the special thing with this app is that we are every week we are updating our literature and putting in new stuff and more pictures. So we're always working to kind of be updated to the best standard. And this is then important for us to kind of push to our users that hasn't bought or maybe forgotten about the app. So I mean, the conversion rate we are hoping to land upon in the end of the year around 20 to 25%. But I mean, there's a lot of work to do here to kind of get it. But we are really happy that so many people showed interest in just 1 month. It's just, yeah, it's a very, very impressive.
Wow, that is that'll be amazing to see how the conversion rate. I mean, kudos to get 26,000 people to try your product. How did you how did that happen? Was how did you get 26,000 dentists in 90 countries to even hear about it?
So we had some kind of customers from our prototype, and then we pushed out this app to all the universities in Europe and in the US with marketing. So basically, what we did, we took all the addresses from the universities and just set Facebook ads on these locations, and then suddenly we ended on the top list of in India, in Pakistan, and then when you have a high rating in the App Store, there is a lot of organic traffic going through as well. So I mean, it's just growing and growing with traffic.
So on when it comes to language, it's kind of interesting when you're a dentist because when you're a dentist, the world goes from 8 billion people down to 2 million people. And, you have a dental product, so it doesn't matter that everyone speaks Portuguese in Brazil or that you're in Norway, everybody speaks Norwegian or Sami. When you look at your users, how many languages is it in, and what percent of dentists around the world do you think can already read English? Because English technically is the official language of science. I mean, math is the official language of science, but English is the official language between scientists. It used to be German until World War II, and then they lost that privilege and it went to English. But what percent of the dentists around the world do you think can already read English?
I mean, we are very surprised actually because we only took in consideration the American and the European kind of dental students and dentists. But then we see that the third world as well is kind of using our application. So I mean, I don't know. I would say more than 50% would kind of speak English good.
Now, see, I already knew that because when I started lecturing around the world in all these countries you're talking about, I'd always have a translator, and it's very, very hard. You'd lecture for a minute, translate back for it, but by 2000, they stopped doing that. And at first, it blew my mind because I'd say, "Well, these people don't speak English." They go, "No, they can't speak it, but they can understand you." And I thought, "Well, how does that work?" And then when I was telling people back home, I found out all my Hispanic friends that speak Spanish, they say, "Oh no, I can totally understand my grandmother speak Spanish, but I can't speak Spanish." And as a person who only knows one language and barely at that, to me, I just find it odd that I could understand what you're saying, but not say it back. But evidently, it's two different parts of the brain, because I know now a ton of Mexican people that understand their grandparents and can't speak a word of Spanish. So you're saying, and then I saw that with lecturing. I remember I went to Poland one time, and they said, 90% of the room can't speak Polish, but they can all understand you. And I'm like, what? That's just so weird, but it's a thing. How many languages do you speak? I mean, you were born in Brazil. Do you speak Portuguese?
No, I don't speak Portuguese. I was too young to actually kind of learn it. I speak English, Norwegian, a little bit of Spanish, not too much. Then Swedish, I understand, but I don't speak it. Danish, I understand. And so I mean, it's the same as you said. And what I realized when I was studying abroad is that we had a class with people from Germany, from Italy, from Netherlands, from Sweden, from Norway, and we all studied with English books, right? So then I realized, okay, then just make it in English, because either you're studying in France or Spain or whatever, you're probably going to read the new Carranza book or in English, or you're going to read the Koa and endodontics. You will probably read this in English, and then you understand the literature in English. And this is why we only made it in one language.
So you only have it in one language, and you only plan on making it in one language.
As for now, we're gonna stick to English. We will see.
Yeah, I mean, it just reduces so many errors. I mean, if English is the official language of science, and then anybody speaking any of the other 1,100 languages on Earth right now converts to that, if they all get to a common spine, there'd be a lot of less errors. Because if I translate it from Norwegian to Brazilian and then to English, I don't know if anything went wrong in the translation from Norwegian to Brazilian. So I think the metric system. It's so embarrassing to live in the United States where they're not on the metric system, and I think the answer to the metric system, like temperature, like I think Celsius is a rotten idea too, because I saw it with my grandkids. You know, when you say it's negative 20 degrees, and you have a 4-year-old granddaughter, Raya, say negative. How can you have negative energy? I thought you said temperature was energy. I thought it was energy, and how do you have negative energy? I mean, it doesn't even make sense to a 4-year-old. So it's like Kelvin, and plus I'll tell you, here's a classic example of how bad using science terms are. Like, you have all these dumbass Americans who want to live on the moon and Mars, right? And you know why? Because they have no idea what they're talking about. Look on Earth, Antarctica, nobody lives there. And at night in Antarctica, the temperature in Kelvin is like 270. Okay, the dark side of the moon is 5.
Yeah. So
okay, so you never, if you really want to live on the moon, well, show me. Start doing holiday on Antarctica. You know, and the government should say, you know, when we see the first city on Antarctica with 1 million people, we'll start looking at the moon. And everybody's like, well, I'm not going to Antarctica. That's too damn cold. Antarctica is the tropical rainforest of the dark side of the moon. I mean, you know, what's in fact, I'll Google what is the coldest temperature recorded on Antarctica, and the answer is minus 89.6 degrees. So minus 89.6 degrees to Kelvin would be that'd be 183 degrees Kelvin. So the coldest night ever on Antarctica was 183 Kelvin. But since we use Fahrenheit and Celsius, no one understands that the dark side of the moon is 5 degrees. You know, I started climbing the highest mountain of, I started with Africa, Kilimanjaro. Then I did the tallest one in Antarctica. In Australia. And then I was going to do the tallest one in Antarctica. And guess what the guy told me? You have to have guides with you, because when you sleep in your backpack, your human moisture will freeze the bag to a rock, and you'll never get out. You'll die. You have to have someone not asleep that in the morning can break up your sleeping bag so you can get out of it. And it's like, okay, and you still want to live on Mars? Really?
Yeah,
you know. And it's the same thing with Venus. I mean, Venus has got an atmosphere that says, just like our ocean. It's like, well, if you want to live on Venus, then why don't you first start living on the bottom of the ocean? I mean, the average ocean depth's only 2.5 miles. So when I see the first city of 1 million people living at the bottom of the ocean, then we'll talk about Venus. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I would stick to English, because I've already seen it in my lifetime where I need a translator in all those countries. Now I know that's, and I'll tell you why. Money's the answer. What's the question? Every mother and father around the world realized in the 80s that, you know what, the best shot my child has is to be able to get on that damn internet and know English. And so, like, your mom and dad, were they born in Brazil?
No, I was adopted. So my mother and my father is from Norway.
So they adopted you from Brazil?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Because I was going to say, because if you were from Brazil, a lot of all my Mexican friends, their parents not only didn't teach them Spanish, they said, "I don't want you to learn Spanish. I want you to learn English. You're going to make a
yeah,
lot more money and have a lot more opportunity around the world
that's
with
true.
English." But anyway, so now it's English only. And
Yeah.
when they signed up for the free trial, that you got 26,000 to. Congratulations on that, man. And that was mostly done with Facebook ads.
Yeah, mostly done with that and social media, Facebook and Instagram,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah,
And so how long was the free trial period?
it's all for only 1 week, so we're still waiting for
Oh,
to
so
see
you just
that.
started this like a week ago.
No, I mean we launched, but the most downloads came from a week ago. So I mean we're waiting to see from the most downloads. We launched in March. We did.
Yeah.
So we've been
Well,
live for a month, and then the most downloads it came for a week ago. So the days now are very very interesting to see what's going to happen.
so are you nervous? Are you excited? Are you sleeping good? Are you not sleeping good? How's all this affecting you?
I mean, with all the workload and all this stuff besides the application, it's I'm sleeping well. I'm sleeping well because what we see is that people download this app, and what we also see they want to try it. Okay, if we don't figure out at the moment exactly what they want, we can still ask them. We have their contact information. We can ask them. We can see what we did wrong, and then we can try to fix it. So I mean, I wouldn't be sleeping if we had 0 downloads. Then I would be wow. Then I would be awake. So, I mean, for a month, I'm very happy. I'm very excited, and I mean, I this is just the beginning. And when we are allowed to travel more, I will guess we will do some university visits and talk to the students and trying to kind of grasp what their idea is and what the perfect app would be like.
And when you say travel again, give us an update. First of all, are you vaccinated?
Now I'm getting vaccinated in 2 weeks.
And
Uh,
which one are you going to get?
the Pfizer one.
The Pfizer?
Yeah, they stopped the AstraZeneca in Norway now because of the yeah the complications.
I was very excited about that because they blew it all out of proportion. It was it was crazy stupid stuff. But the good news is that is the poor countries, that was the cheap one because it didn't have to be refrigerated. It was only a couple dollars a piece. And when I saw that they found some rare blood clotting deals and all the rich countries said we don't want it, I said thank God. Now there's 208 countries and 150 of them can't afford, the Moderna, the Pfizer, the BioNTech. So when that happened, and it was the low cost one, it was the one that didn't need to be crazy refrigerated. I thought, thank God, because if it would have been perfect, the rich countries would have bought the whole supply. So then the poor countries wouldn't have anything. So now they got, now they're going to get the ones the rich didn't want to eat. And, so that I think that was the best news ever. So you're scheduled to get it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so because we are in Norway, the health workers and the dentists, the dentists especially, we are like we're not highest up on the priority list. So they already started with the people that is over 60 years old, and then now they're kind of moving down to professions and lower age.
So when so you've been looking at this data. Now you got diagnostic tool, diagnosed from our diagnostic library filled with symptoms, clinical signs, pictures. You have treatment protocols. You have pharmaceutical guide. So far, what seems to be the most activity?
I mean, the endodontical part is very, very, very excited. I mean, they kind of see the diagnosis between reversible, irreversible pulpitis. They want to see the treatments, and this is what is really special with our application, because when you go to one diagnose, you can jump directly to the guidelines for the treatment and materials to use with just one click or tap or or how you say it. And this is the kind of the special idea about our application, that you can look bullet points easy, nice and easy, and then jump directly to the guidelines. And then you can also see some material requirements. You can see some indications, contraindications, and I mean, this is how they use their app. They go on one diagnosis, then I see that they move down to the treatment guidelines, they move to the management, they just move in like a maze, basically. They kind of,
And I see you're mostly on Instagram, and I see that you're mostly on Instagram and Facebook, right?
yeah.
Do you do any other social medias?
Now we kind of focus on these two because on Instagram it's very easy to find the dental students, because nowadays the millennials they are very eager to show that they're studying dentistry. And I mean, it's very easy to find them, and it's easy to speak to them, and they are nice, and are answering. Facebook as well for kind of planning events and doing this stuff. We're planning one seminar for the dental students in Norway, and we just put on a Facebook event, and then we just shared it with them. And so I mean, it's kind of these two platforms we are using, because these are easy to use, and yeah, we can find them very easy.
Now, I follow you on Instagram at denthelp.io.
Yeah.
And then what is your Instagram page? What is yours called?
My personal, it's Photos by Severino.
PHOTO or F?
Uh,
Photo by Severino. Yep, I'm following you there too.
yeah.
And you are quite the handsome, photogenic man. You have many different looks. My gosh. So, how many years ago did you graduate from dental school?
So I graduated 2 years ago. So I've only been working for 2 years.
I looked at your section, well, what do you still find most challenging back year three? Is it diagnostic? Is it treatment, or is it pharmaceutical? Because for me, I feel sorry for you young kids, because when I got out of school, when I graduated from school, I don't even think they had discovered penicillin yet. There was only like 3 antibiotics, and you knew them all. Now people come in on their health history, and it's like, holy moly. I mean, there must be 18 million gazillion drugs out there. So I think the pharmaceutical guide for me, I mean, I would
It's
say
kind
that, but do you find yourself personally, 2 years out of school, more interested in the diagnostic tool, the treatment protocol, or the pharmaceutical guide?
Now, I mean, the pharmaceutical guy is quite interesting, because you have the drug name itself. It's one thing. But then when I came back to Norway, they have different brand names with that drug, right? So when my patients, they tell me the medical history, what kind of drugs they're taking, and then I'll be like, okay, I never heard of this one.
Right.
Then I go into internet and Google it, and I'll be like, okay, now I see, now I understand. So that was kind of like a transition for me. So I mean, the pharma, and it is quite important to know all the contraindications and indications for antibiotics, for what kind of medical history you should actually be aware of. And I mean, this is knowledge you should always be updated on and know. So I would say this is the most important thing. The kind of diagnosis and the treatments. I mean, if you're working 50 years, of course you will kind of learn all of them, but the funny thing here is that I see dentists working for 50 years. They get a patient in, and then it'd be after 1 hour, it'd be like, I have to go through my old notes or my school books and look, it was this one, right? So, I mean, diagnosis as well would be an interesting part when you kind of forget about one special disease you learned in university.
Yeah, and this is where I think education is going backwards, and that is what you just said. I mean, just take something as basic as Tylenol. It's Tylenol, it's acetaminophen, it's paracetamol. I mean, there's so many damn names
Yeah.
for Tylenol, Oframev, MatPap, Pharbitol, Feverol, Tylofen, Tactidol. And it's just it's insane. And then they do it with English. I mean, it's not just we call what you say is football, we call
Mm,
soccer, right?
exactly. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's
and okay, so you got 8 billion people, and what percent of the world calls it football?
as called soccer football or
Yeah,
American
yeah, yeah,
football.
calls soccer football.
I would say more than 50%
I would say
because
it's 90%.
maybe
And then the Americans have to call it football, and they're just dumb. I mean, and then they call it their baseball the World Series, and it's the entire world watches it as long as you live in the United States. And when you have the World Cup in soccer, the whole world is watching it. And
exactly.
when you have the World Series in baseball, it should be called the the United States Series. But anyway, it's the synonyms. Like go back to ball. Well, a ball is a sphere, and you're trying to teach these kids geometry, and they call a round thing a pizza slice. They call it a ball, and they call it every word there is except the scientific word for it, which is sphere. And I think that if every year the English dictionary is growing by 1,000 words, then we're not. Then we're going to be dumber. I mean, a million years from now, they're going to say,
Yes.
"Well, there's now 4 billion words, and I only know 10,000, so I'm not smart enough to get a job." They should be condensing, and they should be. I wish the scientific language would only do the most weighted word as used by the people, because then you don't have to educate them. Like if everybody already calls it Tylenol or acetaminophen, like if you found out 7 billion out of 8 billion people call it paracetamol, well,
Yeah.
then let's drop all the other names and call it paracetamol, and then the whole world can talk to each other. But
Yeah.
you know who does it the worst in dentistry? Is GC America out of Japan. I mean, it started on Dental Town clear back in 1999. These dentists are talking about products. They're like, I've never heard of that product. Oh yeah, okay, you're in Australia. Over there they call it this. In Canada they call it this. In Japan they call it that. In Germany they call that. And I was telling all the manufacturers 20 years in 1999, I said, hey, there's this new little thing out called the internet. And they would roll their eyes. And back then, everybody thought it was a dumb idea. I started Dental Town 5 years before Facebook. That's why we got 250,000 users. And I was telling them all, I said, you guys, you can't name a product 20 different things in 20 different countries because they're on the internet and they don't know what the hell you're talking about. And it's still a problem. But hopefully someday we'll get English reform. And someday they'll do, I hope it starts in the scientific language. And I hope the first thing they do is just get rid of all synonyms and antonyms and get rid of all that trash and just go with the most weighted word. Because if only 5% of the people call it Tylenol, why do the other 8.5 billion people have to go to college to learn the scientific word for it? I mean, the best way to teach scientific word is just use the most weighted word and let's get over it.
Because the students and people are getting confused. They're
Oh,
getting
yeah.
confused.
Yeah, and education is not getting faster, easier, higher quality, cheaper. They're just complicating it, and they're doing it the worst way with, like Fahrenheit and Celsius instead of Kelvin, not using the most weighted word, not using the scientific term, and start using all these brand names. But yeah, so that's the pharmaceutical section. But of the next two sections, diagnostic tool and treatment protocols, we'll put them in order of popularity: diagnostic, treatment, pharmaceutical, 1, 2, or 3. Where's the most activity? Where's the second? Where's the third?
The most activity is treatment, then diagnostic, and then pharmacy. The
Treatment,
pharmaceutical.
then diagnosis. That's interesting. And why do you think? Why do you think when they left dental school, treatment protocol was still such an issue that it became number one? What do you think the dental schools could learn by looking at the data of young dental students? Is most of your customers young?
Yeah, they are the dental students. So they're between 20 to 25.
And they're
Most of
still
them.
in dental school?
Yeah, still in university.
Oh, wow. So they're young. They're still in dental kindergarten school. So most of your market is dental students between 20 and 25?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, I tried to look for you on Twitter and you weren't on there, so I just knew you were young. I mean, Twitter in America, Twitter is all the old dentists, like 50 to 75. And then you go to the young dentists, like
Mm.
35 to 20, they're all on Instagram.
Yeah, that's.
And their parents are all on Twitter. And then LinkedIn. Are you on LinkedIn?
Yeah, only on my personal page.
Okay, well, I want to tell you that LinkedIn is where all the money is in dentistry. I have 41,000 followers on LinkedIn, and those are all the dental manufacturers. So if you're trying to get Shine or a pharmaceutical to backyard, if you want to know where all the dentists are on, well, they were on Dental Town before there even was a Facebook. They're on Dental Town, Facebook. Younger on Instagram. The older dentists are secondary, might be Twitter. Pinterest is 90% females on that, just like YouTube is 90% boys for Dentistry Uncensored. But LinkedIn is where all the money is. The business of dentistry is carved up on a golf course and LinkedIn. So I would make sure that you post your stuff there, because if you ever get in a situation where you want to have a liquidity event and sell it, or if you want to partner with something, you want to already have your brand built on LinkedIn, so they're watching your journey.
That's true.
Because as my friend Fred Joyle would say, everything is marketing. So my gosh, I feel bad talking to you because I know you're on the other side of the world. It's
Nice.
4 o'clock here. What the hell time is it in Norway? It's got to be 1 in the morning.
Yeah, almost 1 in the morning. And
It's almost 1 in the morning.
I have my first patient in 7 hours.
Oh my gosh. Well, I feel like a creep keeping you up this late, but I hope this is a great commercial. I hope a lot of people listen to it. Go check it out.
Great for us. This is great.
Yeah, and I think Dental Town's got 275,000 members. I made a post on Dental Town. You should go on there and introduce yourself to that group too. That's Dental Town's. There's people from all 208 countries on that site. In fact, one of the forums, the last forums, it starts with all things Corona, Anesthesia Assistants Association, blah, blah, blah. But the very last form is your dental neighborhood, and it lasts all 208 countries. And there's literally dentists from every country on earth, from all the way to Zimbabwe. But I wanted to get you on. I wanted to be that old guy that was egging you on, saying, good for you, man. You're young, you're entrepreneur, you're thinking outside the box. I mean, I don't want to say you're the all-American boy, because that's rude. You're Norwegian, but I'd say you're the all earthling boy. Born in Brazil, practicing in Norway, talking to a dentist in the United States. How cool is this world getting?
Yeah, it's really cool.
But man, I've got your back. Best of support. Peace, love, and dentistry, and good luck on your journey. And if down the road you pivot or do something different or whatever, come back on the show and give us an update.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much for being here.
All right, man. Have a great day. And how do you say dentist in Norwegian?
Tannlege.
Tannlege?
Yeah.
So like I'm a tannlege?
Yeah, correctly.
Tannlege. All right. Well, from this tannlege to your tannlege, have a rockin' hot night. I hope you get some sleep.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.